Once upon a time, in the village of Eziago, there lived a young girl named Utomwa, which means sweet baby. Utonwa, who was the only child of her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Obiora, who were respected members of the big St. Luke Anglican Church in Eziago. Mr. and Mrs. Obiora were respected because of their position as elder and deaconess at the church. Utonwa was the only eye and pride of her parents. She was born 10 years after her parents got married. So when she was born, it was a miracle. People came from different places to visit and to congratulate Mr. and Mrs. Obiora. All the congregation of St. Luke Anglican Church were excited and they came to congratulate them. Mr. and Mrs. Obiora were overjoyed and they thanked God for coming through for them after 10 years. Mr. and Mrs. Obiora were very intentional in raising their daughter Utomwa with so much love and care and in the fear of the Lord. Utomwa was the golden child in all ramifications. She was very beautiful, charming, intelligent, and well-mannered. Everyone loved her, and her parents were so proud of her. She was following in their footsteps in serving God. She was in the teenage choir and participated in every activities in the church. Utomwa was the golden child, and other parents encouraged their children to follow her footsteps. Few years later, Utomwa has graduated from secondary school and have gotten admission to study business administration at Enugu State University. This made her parents very happy and proud of her. The night before she will leave for the university, her parents called her to discuss with her. Her father, Mr. Obiora, said, "Utonwa, my sweet baby, thank you for being an amazing daughter to me and your mother. We are happy to have you as our daughter, and we are proud of you. Tomorrow you will be leaving for the university. Please, my dear, don't forget all we have taught you. Always remember where you are coming from and the daughter of who you are. You are a child of God. Please don't keep bad company. Remember, evil communication corrupts good manners. And you know you have always wanted to be a very big businesswoman. Please focus on your studies and make us proud." Utomwa replied with a smile, "Thank you, Papa. I promise not to deviate from all you and Mama have taught me. I promise to make you proud and to make God proud." My daughter, I wish you can stay with me and not leave my side for a minute, but this is best for you. Please don't bring shame to us. Go out there and make us proud, Miss Obiora said with a teary eye. Utomwa hugged her mother and consoled her, encouraging her not to cry, that she will make her proud. The next day, Mr. and Mrs. Obiora accompanied their daughter to the park as she boarded a bus to Enugu State University. Mr. and Mrs. Obiora waved their daughter as the vehicle disappeared from their sight, as tears rolled down Miss Obiora's face. At the university, Utonwa was very happy to breathe fresh air outside the watch and guidance of her mother and father. She was ready to explore and to experience life in a different way. Few weeks later, Utonwa has settled down in the university. She has located her department, gotten a hostel, and has done all the necessary registration. She has also found a church and was committed and dedicated to God. She has a roommate whose name was Oge. Oge was a medical student in her 300 level, and she was also well behaved. Utonwa and Oge attend the same church, and Oge guides Utonwa on things she needs to know about the university. It was less stressful for Utonwa to adapt to the school system, as Oge acts like an elder sister to Utonwa. 1 year passed, and Utonwa was now in her 200 level. Utonwa decided to start up a small business where she will travel to Lagos and buy goods like bag, clothes, and shoes, and sell them in her school. She discussed it with Oge, and Oge said, "Utonwa, that's a very brilliant idea. But the issue is, hope it won't affect your studies." Utonwa said, "No, it won't. I will not allow the business to affect my studies. It has always been my passion to start up a business. At this time, my family is facing some financial challenges, so I want to use this business to support myself and not always call my parents for finance." Oge encouraged her, and in few weeks' time, Utonwa traveled to Lagos to buy goods. When she returned, after every class each day, she will arrange some of the goods inside a portable bag, and she will carry it from one room to another and from one hostel to the other, showing her goods to the ladies. And any day she did not go for lecture, she will sample the goods in front of the hostel. With time, people started patronizing her. So that was how she started her clothing, shoe, and bag business, traveling to Lagos to buy goods and sell them in Enugu. So on one of her trips to Lagos, after she finished purchasing her goods, it was already late. At that process of looking for a place to pass the night, she met a young man who was standing close to his car. Utonwa greeted him warmly. "Good evening, sir. Sir, please, I'm looking for a place to lodge and spend the night. A place not very expensive." The young man responded, "Good evening, young lady. It looks like you are new here. Where are you coming from and where are you going?" with all this load? Utonwa replied, Sir, I'm a student of Enugu State University. I usually come to Lagos to buy goods and go sell them at my school. The young man, who introduced himself as Brian, was amazed by her strength. After much conversation, Brian offered Utonwa a room in his house. What looks like hours of hesitation, Utonwa agreed. When they arrived at Brian's mansion, Utonwa was amazed by the magnificent building. Brian welcomed her and showed her the guest room and asked her to make herself comfortable. The next day, Utomwa got ready to leave for Enugu, and Brian offered to drop her at the park. At the park, before they part ways, they exchanged numbers. When Utomwa got to Enugu, at her hostel, she explained to Oge her encounter with Brian. Utomwa, that's very kind of him, but you need to be very careful with strangers, Oge said calmly. From that time, Utomwa and Brian will always talk on the phone for length, and whenever Utomwa traveled to Lagos for her business, she will stop at Brian's place. It continues like that for some time until they both started a relationship. Brian was into real estate and was doing well for himself. Utomwa was very happy because she loved Brian so much. Brian was her first love, and she was looking forward in being his wife. Brian and Utomwa dated for some months when Utomwa found out that she was pregnant. Utomwa was very scared and afraid. She did not know what will become of her life since she was still in school. At that time, she was in her 300 level. Utomwa put a call through to Brian. When he picked up, Utomwa explained to him and told him that she was pregnant. Brian responded reluctantly. So what do you want to do about it? Utomwa said softly, Brian, since we were already planning to get married, please come and see my people and pay my bride price before the pregnancy starts showing, and give me an engagement ring. Brian said, you can buy the engagement ring and put it on your finger. And as for coming to see your parents, I will talk to my people about it. Utonwa said, my love, please hurry. We don't have time. Months passed and Brian did not reach out to Utonwa. And anytime Utonwa called him on the phone, he will give one excuse or the other. I'm busy now. I will call you later. But Brian will not call her back. Utonwa even have to travel down to Lagos to meet him, but she was told that he was not around. He traveled for a business trip. At that point, Utonwa's stomach was already big, and the news was all over the village. Mr. and Mrs. Obiora, Utonwa's parents, were relieved of their duties as elder and deaconess at the St. Luke Anglican Church. The incident affected Mr. and Mrs. Obiora so much. They became a shadow of themselves. They became a laughing stock in the village. People will often laugh and whisper when Mrs. Obiora goes to the market or walk along the village path. Utonwa was very disappointed in herself. She will cry and lament all day as Oge will console her. Oge, look at what I have brought upon myself. You warned me, but I did not listen. Shame and reproach I have brought upon myself and my parents. My parents are very disappointed in me. They asked me to come back home tomorrow. How will I be able to face them? What will I tell them? Oge tried to console her. Utonwa, it's okay. Calm down. Everything will be fine. The next day, Utonwa traveled to Eziago. At Mr. Obiora's house, Utonwa sat down with her head bowed to the floor and her parents sitting looking at her with a sad and disappointed expression. Hi besties, thank you for watching my story to the end. Is your girl Ify Best. So what do you think will be the outcome of Utonwa's life and study? See that in part 2. God bless you.